Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Stronger, Deeper Marriage podcast. You are in for an exciting treat today. What if the very pain you tried to bury was the key to the healing your marriage desperately needed?
What if the struggles you face weren't signs to quit, but invitations to grow deeper, stronger, and more connected?
Well, welcome to the Stronger, Deeper Marriage show, where we have honest conversations that heal hearts, strengthen marriages, and empower couples to build relationships filled with peace, purpose, and passion.
Hello, I am Patti Hall, and I'm honored to join you as co-host of the Stronger, Deeper Marriage show. I met Lucille a few years ago at a speaker event, and we instantly connected over our shared experience of long marriage. Between the two of us, we have about 100 years almost in marriage. I've spent about 40 years building a life and marriage with my Superman, and like every real marriage, ours have both beautiful highs and challenging lows. Our first and deepest commitment has always been to God, and that faith has anchored us through every season. I am the owner of True Patti Wellness, where I serve as a certified personal trainer and holistic wellness coach, helping people build strength from the inside out, physically and spiritually. That same foundation has shaped how my husband and I have showed up for each other and for our children, united in our desire to give them something we never had. I see marriage the same way. It's not just about making it through the years, but thriving, staying rooted in God's word, and learning to love each other more deeply in every season. I'm grateful to be here and excited to bring my heart, my lived experience, and wellness-based perspective to these conversations, because a strong, God-centered marriage is one of the most powerful forms of wellness there is.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you said thriving because we have today as our guest a powerful woman of God. And we're going to be diving into a powerful conversation about healing, hope, and purpose in marriage. Our guest today is a woman of faith, resilience, and transformation, a purpose-driven inner healing coach, multi-best-selling author, speaker, and mentor who has spent her life helping women uproot trauma and step boldly into who they were created to be.
She is the founder of transformative programs like stepping into a new you and stepping into a new author. And she brings over 3 decades of marriage experience and wisdom.
So get ready, y'all, for a conversation that will inspire you, challenge you, and remind you that no matter what you're facing, there is always hope. Please welcome to the
Please
show.
welcome to the show,
Ivy
Caldwell.
Caldwell. Ooh, I wish I had some music in the back. I mean, some
We
sound
need our
effects in
clappers.
the background. So, Ivy, did I cover it about you? Is there anything else you want to like? Because I like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the audience yourself. If there's something you want to say before we dive into these questions.
Amen. Lucille, thank you for having me here on today. And you covered it well.
All right. All right then. Well, Ivy, tell us. There's you shared with us a story of how you and your husband met and what first gave you hope in your relationship.
Okay. All right. Now we got to go way back, right?
Yeah, we want to start at the beginning.
All right. All right. So over what, 34, 35, 36 years ago, I was on a mission that night. It was December 31st. I say 1989, but he say 1990 because it was watch night, New Year's night. So we were in this bar, in this club. All right. I can count the number of people on my 2 hands. The place was dead. So it's getting close to midnight, right? But I was on a mission that night, right? To find someone. mind you, I am not saved at all, and I was doing what the world do, right? So women, we don't go seeking for a man or a husband, right? But I was on a mission at night. So it's getting close to midnight, right. I gotta find somebody, right? So this is something that I have never done before in my life. Ever, ever, ever. I went over to the DJ booth and I went like this, motioning him, let's dance.
Okay, all right now.
So he came out of the booth. We danced, wrapped his arms around me, and we danced. And we have been together ever since.
All right.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. You knew exactly what you wanted.
Uh-huh.
Come out of that booth.
Come here.
Come on, come on. Come right here.
When you started that, I really thought this was going somewhere else. When you said watch night, I was like, okay, they in church. But baby, that was in a different church.
She's on a mission.
And it wasn't the Lord's mission.
That's right. That's right. Now, I must say now, as the night went on, so he didn't have a vehicle. So I dropped him off at home. So when we got to his house, I was like, can I use the bathroom? Now, he was thinking, all right, now I got her. Something about to go down, something getting ready to happen. So I went in and used the bathroom, came out, and I said, good night. And when I said good night for him, I was the one. Because usually, right, that woman would give it up.
Right.
But no, I did no such thing on that night. I said good night, talk to you later. But in his mind, it was something different about Ivy. So that is how that night went when we met.
Well, very good.
Very
So,
good.
I like the way your relationship started. It started in an what do you call it? A unconventional way, especially when
Yes.
you were forward in the situation. You know, lots of times I know when I'm talking to my daughter, she's 30, she's in her 30s. I ain't gonna say her age.
Mhm.
She'd be like, Mom, don't be telling people my age. But I was like, well, you gotta let a man know you're interested sometimes. You gotta let him know. You know, you just can't be, he gotta come after me. Well, yes, he gonna come after you, but he need to know that you interested, that you know he ain't gonna get shot down if he come over there. So
So was that out of this, you just something you just did that particular night to actually motion him to
Yes.
step away because he's spinning records for everyone else? And out of
Yes.
everybody in the room, you was like, nah, I want that one. I want you.
There wasn't that many people in the club because
Okay.
I can count them on my hand.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, it's getting close to midnight, and I'm sitting there like, what's going on? Where the people at? Where the men at? I mean, but I got up and I went over and motioned him to let's dance. And I have never done that before in my life. Yeah.
Wow.
I love
So
that.
it was meant to be.
It was definitely meant to be.
So after more than 31 years of marriage, what does hope and hard times mean to you today?
Hope, hard times. I know that every marriage will definitely go through those different seasons, and they make the marriage stronger. Some people will say they may want to quit because of, the lack of finances, or you just don't seem to be interested in one another, or the health issues, and they're ready to quit. But these different seasons in the marriage, it makes the marriage stronger, and you grow to appreciate one another even more.
I would definitely have to agree.
Definitely.
Being
Yeah.
married, we just celebrated our 41st wedding anniversary on the 26th. And
Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations.
thank you. So if you
Congratulations.
think about it, like Patti said, her years of marriage and my years of marriage almost equal 100. It's over 100 with you added
With
on.
the three of us, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be
yeah.
at 39 next month.
Yes. 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 So
Mhm.
And 32 for us. And our anniversary date is December 31st, the date we
All
met.
right.
Yeah.
The date
Uh,
you met. Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. I love that. But you
Yeah.
speak about seasons, and that's definitely the way I try to explain it to young people at my church. They when they find out I've been married a long time, and they all of them want to know, what's the secret? What's the secret?
Right. Right.
Um, and and I try to just be realistic with them and let them know that your marriage is going to go through seasons.
Hmm.
You guys are going to be growing together and changing over time,
Yes.
and that's just the normal part of it. Is we
Yeah.
think when we go into it that we know what it is.
right.
Right. Right. Right.
Right. Right. Like once you say I do, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. But I think,
Yeah.
as you say, with younger couples, you always have to be each other's friends.
Hmm.
You just have to remain. You have to be friends, and you have to like each other. There's a thin
Yeah.
line between love and hate,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but you
So
just gotta like each other.
yeah. So let's talk about those seasons. So we think about the four seasons, right?
Mhm.
So in the spring, okay, we're getting married, we're newlyweds, everything is new. All right. You really don't know each other. You're learning each other and you're growing. And then you have the summer season, right? It's hot. Now, this is the passion season. You can't get enough of each other, right? Got to
Right.
be around each other, right? And then we have the fall season. Things start drying up, right? Things start drooping and looping.
I'm your tech right now.
Girl, look, tell it. You tell it.
Go
And
ahead. Go
then you
ahead.
have the winter season, right? Oh, it's cold, baby. It's cold. Now you try to keep each other warm, but it's cold. And things are starting to what? Die down and be buried. So there are four seasons in a marriage. Never mind the health, the wealth, and the finances and all the other stuff, but there are definitely four seasons in a marriage.
I would definitely have to agree. I was over here like when she said that hot, that summertime, that hot, passionate time. Yes, and we keep
Yes.
trying to get back to that. Yes, where is it? Come on back.
Yeah, you be looking for that in those winter months, right? That
Yes.
winter season.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
Your
yes.
mind might think about it, but your body says something different, right?
Sometimes
We
you gotta
telling
be
the
saying
truth,
something.
right?
You be like, wait a minute,
We
I'm
telling the truth.
tired. Go ahead. All right, ladies, calm down. Y'all calm down. All right, so Ivy, tell us if you can think of one about a setback, a challenging time in your marriage that really tested your faith, your patience, your connection with your husband.
Um, Not necessarily with him because it was a tough season for both of us.
Okay.
Um, and so it was many, many years ago. We were home watching the news, sitting in our living room, and my husband got a phone call, and they said, "Are you watching the news? Your job is closing." So that's how he found out he didn't have a job by
Mhm.
watching the news. This was in 1994, actually. And in the meantime, I had decided to close my daycare. So I have a licensed New York State daycare in my home for 14 years. But in 1994, I decided to close it. So now here you have me, no clients. He doesn't have a job. No money's coming in. What are we to do? And we have four children, growing children. So we ended up getting on welfare. Both vehicles got repossessed. We had just purchased new vehicles.
Oh,
Mhm.
That was definitely a trying time for both of us. But as the man of the house, he did what he knew how to do. He was going to continue to provide.
Mhm.
So we went from having these new shiny vehicles to getting this what do you call those vehicles? Like when you get it for the teenager?
Hoopty.
There you go. Ended up with the hoop
I
dee.
didn't want to say it.
Hey,
Surely she's
that's
not
what it
talking about a
was.
hoopty.
That's what it was. We ended up with the one vehicle, no longer two, the one hoop dee, right? Doing what we had to do and take care of business. So he decided to go and learn how to get his CDL to become a professional driver. I decided to go back and get training for insurance to get my insurance licenses. So we had to shift, we had to move. So it was definitely a trying time, but we got through it.
Well, that's
Like,
wonderful.
what were some of those conversations, those hard, because I know you guys have to have those hard conversations, and a lot of times we don't want to have those hard conversations. We think what we want to say, but it's kind of hard to communicate that in a positive manner, should I
Mhm.
say.
Yes, yes.
How did you get through those? I mean, we get angry, we get pissed, we get, how did you do that without blaming each other,
Yeah,
and keeping the kids together and not letting them, exposing them to
right,
unnecessary
right.
drama?
Conflict. Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. So
Mm,
our children never knew what was really going on. They never heard us
Wow.
fight. They never heard us argue. And of course, we did not agree on everything because
mm.
he has a way of doing things. I have a way. I'm the saver. He's the spender. He likes to go shopping. So we definitely
Oh.
have to bring things to the table. All right. What are our goals here? What do we want to do for the family? It's like you have to come to the table and
Mm-hmm.
have those tough conversations. Uh, my demeanor is not yelling.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was just shut down and be quiet.
Okay.
All right. He would say he would never yell at me, but his voice is much deeper and
The
stronger.
tone, the tone
The tone.
Yes.
expressed it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Much deeper than mine. So, but paying attention, and men know when they are doing something wrong. He would always come back and say, I'm sorry. I apologize. I should have listened to you. So women, we don't always have to say something
Mm.
because they know. They already know. But then some of us, we just gotta like put a hammer to the nail. We're gonna bring it home. We're gonna
Oh,
nail it in. We're
yeah.
gonna nag. We're gonna
I
nag.
told you
But
so.
that,
You don't
yeah,
listen.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. I told you so, right. But that actually pushes you further apart
Yes.
when you
Breaking
do
each other
that.
down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So sometimes it's just best to be quiet before you say or do something that you are going to regret.
Can you
And-
say that one more again for our listeners? Because that was an acquired skill that I had to learn, to be quiet, and that's not a sign of weakness.
oh,
But can you reiterate this? Sometimes as women, when we have a husband that's the head of our household,
yeah,
respectfully,
yes,
we have to be quiet.
yes,
So can you kind of
right,
elaborate so
right,
some of our listeners will kind of, what,
yeah,
be quiet? Because we get that neck rolling like,
right,
look
right,
here,
right, right,
you
Yep.
ain't got
right,
no job. I ain't got no
right,
job. Right.
What we gonna do?
What we gonna do?
right, right, right. You're right. No, 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 no. Of course, he is thinking about the next move, what he's going to do. He's thinking about the family. We got to let them lead. All right. We say we want them to lead,
Speak the truth.
but do we really want them to lead or do we want to be in control? Let them
Mhm.
lead. We got to trust them, right? And be quiet.
Be quiet.
Just wait. Just wait and let God work it out. My
Yes.
husband has come back to me many times to say, you know what? I was wrong. I
Yes.
wish I had listened to you. Now, if I was doing the neck rolling, do you think he would have came back and said he was
Absolutely not.
wrong? No.
Absolutely not.
Just be
Keep
quiet.
those words within
Peace.
our
Peace.
mouth.
Be still. Keep your peace.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: as a person who normally lets things fly with the lips, I am of an age now where I look back and I just go, "Oh, I was so disrespectful." But can you
Mhm.
tell some of our listeners how you got to that place, or have you always been been in that space. I don't know, did you have your parents as an example to look at? Maybe give us some insight on how they can get to that spot of holding back what you really want to say
Yeah.
and just letting it play out. Because
Yeah.
that's a scary
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I've always been a mild tempered, so it's not in my character to shout or be yelling. Personally, I don't like the way it makes you feel on the inside, or getting those stress levels rolled up. You got your heartbeat going now, you sweating, you're
Wedding.
angry, you mad, you gonna tell him and give him a piece of your mind. And that's what the enemy wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to get in there to separate. So
Mm-hmm.
just be mindful of that, how you will give the enemy access into your marriage, all because of, I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind, but you tearing him down. But the two of you are supposed to be one. So you got to be mindful of what you say and what you do, as well as that wife.
Mhm. I agree, but as a
Yeah.
recovering uh blabbermouth,
Get it right. Get it right.
um I used to be disrespectful with my words, and I would let it fly. I didn't have no.
Mhm.
I relished in it actually. I like a good fight.
Mm.
Now my
Mm.
husband, he don't. And when I say fight, I'm talking about verbal. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
physical or anything like that.
Mhm.
Now my husband, he is more mild mannered. I would say like you,
Mhm.
and I took it as he didn't care if he didn't if he didn't want to do
Mm.
battle with me with words. But it
Mm-hmm.
takes him time to um
Process everything and get
process.
it.
That's the word. Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
takes some
Mhm.
time to process
Mm-hmm.
things. And see, I can roll those words off. I cut you in, 2 seconds flat. I don't have no problem doing
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
Yeah.
actually, and at that time, it was actually fun to do that in
Mm.
my mind,
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
because I'm passionate about what I'm passionate about, and I took that as he don't care because he wouldn't say
Mm.
anything back, at the time.
Yeah.
So what I will share, for if there's anyone who is like me, because she said she's more reserved, and I was
I'm
not,
reserved too.
and you're reserved. Okay, no,
I'm reserved.
now I didn't do no cussing or nothing like that, but I talked to you so bad you thought I done cussed you out. Um, but what helped me, I will say this to anybody who's listening, was my reliance on the Lord.
Mm.
When I became a born again Christian in the 90s, we got married in 85. So we were probably, a plus of 15 years at that point in marriage. Um, but I stopped relying on him to meet my needs, and I started relying on God
Mm.
to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I could take it off of him and just say, Lord, I'm just relying on you to bless me through him.
Yeah.
You have given me to him and him to me, and you're ultimately in control of everything. And so once I could
Yes.
take that
Right.
off my shoulders, because I thought I had to bear everything. I'm an only child.
Mm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
my parents got divorced when I was almost getting ready to go into third grade, and so I just always felt like I was the one who had to do, like, I had to do
Mm.
battle for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
once I realized I didn't have to do battle, it took that weight off my shoulders, and I was able to relax and let God handle it. So if there's anybody out there like me who is still a recovering,
Yep, because it's a process. It's
it's
a
definitely
process.
a process. I
It's
still
a
have
process.
to fight with myself. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I said, okay, Lord. All right, Lord, I know you're here. I know you got it. Jesus. Do what only you
Yes,
can
Mhm.
because a
do.
lot of times too, when you fire off, like what's said, even when you go to makeup, your makeup, and that's a whole nother podcast with the makeup.
Right.
But once those words are out, and I used to have to tell my husband that certain things he would say, even after the makeup, they're still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of, like they say, once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't get
Yeah.
it back in.
Right.
So
Right.
Right.
you really have to, like you say, Lucille, just work and pray and go to
Mhm.
God with those words in a sense to help you get through that. Because you
Yeah.
say stuff in anger, and then you make up, and you know all is well, but that your spouse, that's still in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still in
Yeah.
there
Mhm.
somewhere.
Yeah. That is so true. We have to learn how to be slow to speak and quick to hear. I can remember one day I was mad at my husband about something, and I was in the bedroom picking up some clothing and cleaning up, and I'm just in there talking junk to myself, but the Lord was there as well. All right. And I was like, and I'm going to do such and such. And the Holy Spirit said, you will do no such thing. And I'm like, what? It's like, what are you talking? You will
Stopped you
do
in your
no such thing.
tracks.
Yes, he did. God stopped me in my tracks. So I'm like, okay, Holy Spirit,
You say, I surrender. I'm listening.
I'm going to leave it alone. Mm-mm.
Was that difficult for you to say, okay, Holy Spirit? Were you at a point in your life and your relationship with God where it was really okay, or were you still kind
Yeah,
of
it was okay. It was okay. I would have made a mess.
all right then? Well, let's change. I know your bio says that you are a trauma informed coach. So how does that how does unresolved trauma show up in marriages?
Yes, it can show up in many ways. So it depends on what type of trauma you are coming out of. And so for me, I do like to put out a warning, okay? Because I don't mean to trigger anyone, but this is what freedom looks like. So for me, coming from molestation as a little girl and growing up with unresolved trauma, and if you're not healed, it could lead to frigidity, okay? Or it could lead to you being very lustful. Or if you're coming out of a like a domestic abuse, it could lead to trust issues, okay? Or women having that low self-worth about themselves. It can just lead to so many different things depending on what type of trauma you're coming from. Yeah.
So
Okay.
as a coach, you help your clients identify that trauma and how it's manifesting in their relationship. Because sometimes I think you don't know what's wrong, but
Yeah.
you're arguing about something else, and it all stems from a lot of the examples that you just presented.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So we definitely have to go back to our childhood
mm,
because that is a big key. The type of environment you were raised in affects you as you get older and you grow up. So,
mm,
yeah, we definitely have to go back to identify what is the root cause? Why are you acting the way you're acting? Or even with people becoming people pleasers, that
mm,
comes from your childhood as well. All right. So maybe mom or dad was an alcoholic or a drug addict. Maybe they were always arguing. And as that child, you thought it was your responsibility to keep peace in the home. But that wasn't your job. But as you grew older, you became that people pleaser. You don't want to make anyone upset or angry. But then you'll go and do something and then you in your mind like and you really don't want to do it. But
mm.
that people pleaser says you don't want to make anyone angry or upset. So yeah.
Wow.
I like that. Just like I shared with y'all, coming from uh, a divorced home, being an only child, uh, those type of things. That was kind of the role that I took on. I wanted everybody to be happy, and I just
Hmm.
wanted to. I said yes to a lot of things I should have said no to,
Yeah, yeah,
and not realizing when I was younger that a lot of that, was from trauma that I was dealing with. And so, when you're working with your clients, is it difficult for them to really I guess put their finger on it or accept
hmm,
that that's what they're doing?
yeah, yeah. It is hard for some, but some of them know that They need healing. Some of them know their issues, they know what their trauma was, but it may be hard for them to open up. So when I first started my program, I had three brave souls that joined me for boot camp. We met 2 nights a week for 3 weeks. In the first 2 nights, I told them you don't have to tell me anything, but I am going to challenge you to share your trauma with someone that you already know, that you trust in your circle, to open up and tell them the truth, because you really haven't even been honest with them yet.
Mm.
Sharing your authentic truth, being real, being honest. So many of us wear a mask,
Mm-hmm.
but as I'm sharing my story, I'm being transparent because I don't hold anything back in my coaching program. On the third night, they began to open up, and I could see the weight being lifted off of them. Their faces began to glow, they were shining, and I was like, oh
Mm.
my God. I could just see the breakthrough coming. And we were on Zoom. I could
Wow.
see the breakthrough coming on their countenance, and how God was releasing those burdens off of them, and destroying yokes. And it was just an awesome experience. And then later that night, one of the young ladies, she texted me, and she was like, well, can I call you to tell you what I'm dealing with, or share my story? So of course I said, yes, you can call me. So she called me, and she started sharing everything with me. But the first thing she said was, God set me up. And
Ooh.
so I'm like, what do you mean? Okay, what are you talking about? God set you up.
Mm.
And so she said, well, I was literally getting ready to go commit suicide.
Wow.
And when she said those words to me, I'm like, God, this is what you want me to do. This
Mm.
is it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Go and help the captives be set free. This is what you have called me to do. So many of us are hiding and running from our true story, our testimony, our lives that God has already mapped out. He wants us to use that pain for His glory.
Mm.
It's not so much about you. He used that pain to shape and mold you into who you are for greater purpose. And then, of course, she gave her life to God that night. So it was like a double bonus. And so after we got off the phone, I'm like, God, you use me, it's like literal me, to help this young lady not commit suicide.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I was like, yes, God, I'm here for it. Yes, I will do it. Yes.
Mm,
Yeah.
I
Wow.
love that.
Yes.
So, if somebody's holding back their story, do you find that they find it difficult to share with their partner um, what they're dealing with?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
It's difficult. It's like they're hiding the secret due to fear. Maybe they'll leave me. Maybe they won't love me. Maybe they'll think something's wrong with them. We have all of these what ifs. We have the fear of man. Then you have the shame. All
Okay.
right. And the guilt, maybe some guilt for some decisions you made, or some things you're ashamed of that you've done just to survive. So
Mm,
it does become difficult for them to share, but I ask them, well, how bad do you want to be free?
Mm.
Because freedom comes when we confess those things that we've been hiding, right? We
Right.
overcome by what? By the word of the Lamb and our testimony.
mm,
We must testify of those things, or confess them, right? So
mm.
that we can be healed and get that release that we need from those things that are plaguing our souls.
Wow.
I love that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely love that.
So it sounds like what you're talking about is emotional safety, because that's what I talk about a lot when I am talking with couples about creating that safe space
Hmm.
for people to really show up as their authentic self,
Yes.
to speak their truth. You know
Yes.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So talk to us
Hmm.
a little bit about, emotional safety. How does someone create that?
Yeah. Well, it was definitely not, what's the word? It wasn't portrayed. in our generation, in our time. Yeah.
Right.
All
Right.
right. So a child stayed in a child's place, go sit down somewhere, stop that crying.
It's grown people talking.
What goes on
Children
in
should
this
be seen
house?
and not heard.
There you go. What goes on in this house stays in this
Stays in his
house.
house.
That was one of
Mhm.
the biggest lies that have kept so many people bound, and they're still bound until this day. And we have to change the narrative. All
Mm.
right. Think about your children, your grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want them to have to contend with what you went through?
Oh,
Because
wow.
there's an open door there. The enemy is coming.
Mhm.
Somebody has to be brave enough to close those doors and stop the enemy in his tracks. All right. He's coming after those babies. You better stand up.
And make those changes. I agree. I know, I always said from the things that I went through growing up that whenever I had kids that, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna do different. Don't know exactly what I was doing, or I
Yeah.
never test to be the perfect parent, but I know I was a good mom.
Yeah.
And one of my things I always said, I don't want to send my kids into this world, for instance, with a 5-piece luggage set.
Mm-hmm.
Now they might have a carry-on, because again, I'm not perfect,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to send them into this world with the 5-piece set
Right.
already.
Right.
Mhm.
So you're sending them out into this world,
Mm-hmm.
like you say, the enemy's always just waiting. Just
Right.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
And to me, why do that to your kids? They're gonna
Right.
have to go through so much.
Right.
Anyway.
So if I can limit and curtail and cut stuff off as much as I can, like I said, I ain't
Mm-hmm.
been perfect. They might have had just
Yeah.
a little carry on or the backpack a little
Yeah.
bit, and that was just always a goal of mine, because knowing, I don't want, my parents break up, get back together, break up, get back together. And as a kid, you like, wait a minute, what are we here? Are we living here? Are we moving here? Like, you're loving each other, then you're like,
Right.
what? And I grew up, my stepfather was very abusive to my mother, physically, mentally, the whole bit. And I'm the oldest, so like you said, unpacking a lot of things as you grow up
Yeah.
and learn. But I just knew I can't send my kids out here. I just have to do everything within my power and the help of the Lord to,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Yeah.
not do that,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And the way that we were raised, it affects how we raise our children. So for me, I didn't allow my sons, I have 4 sons, and I
Mhm.
didn't allow them to spend the night over anyone's home or
Mhm.
even family, because there was incest in my family, and you just don't know what people doing in their homes. So
Mhm.
of course they didn't like it, but I didn't care. It's my job as a mom to protect them.
Protect them. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And so when I wrote my book, Expose It, Let Your Healing Process Begin, that is when I actually shared with my
Wow.
children exactly what happened to me. And then they can say, Mom, well, I appreciate the fact that you didn't allow us to go over to anyone's home, because I was protecting them.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was it hard to share that part of your life with your children? I know sharing things with our spouse is one thing,
Yeah.
but our kids is, that relationship is totally different, especially with your sons.
Right, right, right. And no, when I wrote my book, it wasn't difficult at all. I
Okay.
just wanted to let everybody know what was mom was doing, what was going on, what had happened, and why I did what I did.
Okay.
Mhm. You make me think of when I was a kid. I used to be so mad at my mom. I would, all of my friends, they would have sleepovers with each other and stuff. And I actually had a friend that I went to school with that stayed on my same street, about maybe 5 houses down. And I would want to go spend the night over there and everything. And my mom say, she got a brother. You can't spend the night over there. And I was like, oh, he like 4 years old. He ain't thinking about me. But anyway, I found myself doing that same thing when my daughter came up. And she
Mm-hmm.
would want to
Mm-hmm.
say, all my friends can do something. Look, you don't live with all your friends. I'm here to protect
Right,
you. And you're not spending
right,
the night over nobody's house. Because by this time
right.
I'm old enough to know that, things are going on. that
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what's going on in people's houses, and
Right, right,
Right.
right.
children are not
Right.
safe. They're just not safe.
You're right. You're right.
You know, so exactly. But how would you communicate in a healthy way, you know, something that's bothering you maybe, you were talking about, being trauma informed. Say for instance the person don't know, they haven't done the inner work yet. Can you just give some tips or something that can help them communicate better, just in the state that they are right now? We know they need to dig a little deeper, but is there anything they could start to do right now that would give them like a win, or
Mm-hmm.
open the door just a little bit on communicating better with the husband through some of this trauma? Would it be that, I would say, hey, it ain't, I don't know why I'm antsy today. Maybe it's that time of the month, but it's don't have nothing to do with you. I found that
Yeah, yeah,
helpful when,
yeah,
I was going through that season of life. Thank God that
yeah.
season is over with. But, praise the Lord. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ivy.
Uh, uh, we just have to be honest. Um, we got to be honest and to share our struggles. And you just said it, it doesn't have anything to do with you. There is something with me, be honest, that I have not dealt with yet. I haven't healed from yet. And maybe it's time for me to get some help or be honest and share it with you. And and be honest, say, hey, I'm afraid to share it with you. They may be afraid to share it with someone. But help is available if you need it. And I would go get the help that you need. I mean, you deserve it. I mean, you don't have to stay in that place because freedom is available.
Okay. So what I hear you saying is bad communication can be worked through. If the person would just take if the person would
Absolutely.
just take time. You mean we don't have to stay in this spot? Oh, we just can't communicate. I can't talk to him. She can't talk to me. I can't talk to them. Are you saying that they don't have to stay there?
They do not have to stay there. Help is available.
Help is available. Okay then. Um, well, this is Pata's expertise. This next question I'm fixing to ask you, and she'll probably be asking a few more of these.
Mhm.
But I wanted to ask you, how do you and your husband support each other's uh, dreams and spiritual growth? And that because
Yeah.
Pata deals a lot with that area. That's her expertise. So if you could tell us a
Yeah.
little
Well,
bit about how
You
you
said
guys do it,
your health, dreams, and what else?
and spiritual growth.
Yes, health. There's definitely been some health challenges. I thank God my husband knows how to cook. But as far as the health challenges go, you're there to support one another through
Mhm.
it, until they get better. We both had procedures done. Me recently, I fell on ice and tore my meniscus. So I
Oh,
just thank God. I'm telling you that brother know how to cook.
that
I'm
is a
telling
plus.
you.
Yes.
Yes, yes. I'm telling you, he held it down. I mean, he would cook, do the laundry, bring me my plate. I mean, he held it down. And vice versa. When he had to go into the hospital or have health procedures, I'm there for him as well. So as far as the health go, we're there taking care of one another as we should. Our dreams, he has been there with me from day one, writing, like becoming the author, speaking, going to vendor events. And he makes a mean barbecue sauce. So I've been telling him for years, you need to bottle this, babe. You need to bottle it. So a
mhm.
couple of years ago, I made some labels for him. And he ordered some bottles. He used to bottle up the barbecue sauce. So he's out there selling this barbecue sauce. Now he doesn't stop now. But as a woman, we like to birth things, right? We
Mm.
like to create things. So I'm telling him, all right, now let's get back to the sauce. We got to get the sauce out there. It's so good. So we're there. We support one another, push one another, back one another. And I call my husband, he's a multi talented. He does some of everything. All right. All right. He's a carpenter. He's a plumber. He's an electrician. He done painted the house. He's he just does everything. Not only was he the DJ,
He's
all
the
right. So
subcontractor. Sound like.
right, right. So I mean, I'm telling you, he's the cook. He does everything. He's my IT person. All right. When my
Okay.
computer ain't acting right, I can call him. Go, you done tore it up again. Just come fix it.
But I kind of think back. I'm so much better now in this season of our marriage. When I was younger and my husband wanted to start his catering business, and he told me he was going to leave his good government job. Because back then the government worked for us. It's be something totally different now. We won't even go there. But
Yeah,
back then,
Right.
we were going to get that good government job, get them benefits, get that pension.
right.
I honestly was not supportive.
Yeah, yeah,
And even though I tried to be, he knew that I wasn't, because this came
yeah.
up years later. He's like, you ain't never support me. And I'm like, yes, I did. I helped you and I did that. He was just like, yeah. And all the time, you like, me better not leave that job, right? So, and that bothered him. I
Mm,
mean, this came out later, much later,
yeah,
when we got to a point that we could have those conversations and
yeah.
that type of communication. I never realized it bothered him as much as he did,
Mm-hmm.
that he felt, or I made him feel like that I did not fully support him in
Yeah.
his entrepreneurial efforts. And
Mhm.
we sometimes talk about that now, but I think starting off when you're in that early season of marriage,
Yeah.
and what happened with our conversation later, he admitted, he said I understood why you felt that way,
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't feel safe.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And as your husband and your provider, my job is to help you feel safe.
Yes.
So we were not able to communicate that in our 20s, because I'm
Yeah.
like, who's gonna get the
What are you
healthcare
doing?
insurance? Now I got to get a job with the healthcare insurance. But I did not know how to say, I don't feel safe with you doing this. I
Yeah.
Mm,
didn't know how to communicate that early in our marriage.
yeah.
He did not know how to communicate, I'm sorry if I'm not making you feel safe.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like we all know, you have to get through those seasons
Mm-hmm.
to get to where we are now,
Yes.
to understand it, to still move forward, but then just kind of go back and go, oh, wow, that's what it was. So, like for our listeners or people just starting off, in entrepreneurship, I think it's a great thing now. It's taken me a while to get here, but
Yeah.
I think we have to create our own and take care of our own um,
Definitely.
at
Yeah.
this point. So just, I want our listeners to know, you try to support each other.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And it's hard, because even when because I was faking it. Oh yeah, he read right through that, but he never said anything. He might have looked at me, but I couldn't imagine him working and busting his butt, working his government job and doing his business, and he felt that his wife, did not fully support him.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I identified with what you were saying, because when I got pregnant with my last son, my husband was like, "Why don't you open up a daycare?" Now I had a job, an insurance job with them benefits, and I'm
With them
looking at him like,
benefits.
"Are you crazy? You want me to quit my job to open up a daycare? What?" But I did it, and it was the best decision I ever made, because I
Yeah.
was able to be home with my sons when they went off to school, when they came home from school. I was here. So, but I did. I mean, about them benefits.
Man, you
But
just
I think we as women, because I'm hearing a theme from Pata, especially that resonates with me, is when I was younger, I really did not know how to put words to what I was feeling.
Mhm,
As
mhm.
far as uh, I don't feel safe. What are we going to do about this? You
Mm-hmm.
know, I just didn't have the vocabulary. I don't maybe didn't have the emotional intelligence enough to
Yeah.
Exactly.
even put it together to say that. It would just, be, when no, that we can't do that. That's not working. We da 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 da. Uh, and I think back to, I wish I had started a daycare. I wanted to
Mm.
stay at home. I wanted to stay at home with my kids, but I had that good government job.
Right, right, right.
And I didn't see a way to do it, and I felt so frustrated about it. But I
Mm.
never had the conversation. Never had
Yeah,
the
Mhm.
conversation with my husband. I knew that it probably would be a no because I didn't see it. But
yeah,
we didn't get together to have the conversation to put our heads together to see how could we make it work. So I would
yeah,
say maybe what I'm saying for anybody who's out there listening, um, have the conversation.
Of the
yeah,
Schedule
conversation.
some time. Don't do it in the
yep,
heat of an argument or
Right.
right.
whatever. Looking back, we could have sat down and put our heads together. If you have
Yes.
a
Mhm.
person who, like my husband, needs to have time to process, you could do what I do now is I let him know ahead of time
Mm-hmm.
that we need to have a conversation about that. I want to discuss something with him, and I'll let him know what it's about or whatever. And that gives him some run up time to really put some
Yeah,
thought behind it. And that way, when we come to the table, he's not just blindsided with that's not the first introduction to it.
yeah,
Right, because a lot of times we'll be like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this now.
Right
No,
now,
right.
no, no, no. We're talking about this right now. And they're like, whoa, let me finish watching the game. Or what? Like, what? You like the game? This is important, right?
yeah.
Because we've been thinking about all day when I have this conversation,
Yeah.
this how this gonna go. And then you bring it up and they don't want to talk. And you're like, no, we're gonna talk right now. So
And that's
like
not
you
going to be
said,
that's not going to be the most
exactly.
fruitful conversation anyway, right? Because
Which
Mm.
I knew that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's not.
because
It's
they're
not gonna be a productive conversation.
productive. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not going to be the most
Yeah.
productive time anyway. But if y'all could schedule some time, that
Mm-hmm.
way he's freed up, you're freed up. But like what I
And
hear
Yes.
you
prepared.
saying is you didn't did all the scenarios in your head before you got to him. And you expecting him to jump on the train right now.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
You
Right.
hadn't
Right.
even thought about it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
so that's what I would say for anybody who's listening who has a hard time with maybe bringing up the conversation or whatever, or putting
Mhm.
something into words, is to give it time, give it thought, give it prayer.
Yeah.
Definitely, because those
Yes.
prayer
Yes.
conversations have really helped me. I'll go in and I'll say, Lord, please prepare hearts. And this is for in marriage, outside of marriage, work, relationships, all relationships. I'll say, Lord, prepare hearts and minds
Yeah.
for what I'm about to bring up,
Mm-hmm.
conversation we're going to have. I start praying days in advance. Prepare the hearts and minds. Prepare my heart
Yeah.
and my mind. Prepare their heart and their mind. And
Yeah.
without fail, the
Yes.
Lord has definitely intervened on all of those situations.
Like
So
you say, sometimes I gotta pray, Lord, help me keep these words inside my mouth.
don't be
Because if
like
they
the
come out,
toothpaste.
it's not gonna be good for anybody. So Lord, just help me be quiet. Be quiet.
So, Patty, did you have a follow up question on the health or anything, or should I go into?
I just think, you have to be healthy together. And sometimes we can, a lot of times we're on the same accord. I have couples that love working out together. I have other people, I'm not working out with him. I'm not working out with her. So it just depends, but you have to find, I always tell couples, find at least one physical activity that you guys love doing together. If
Yeah.
it's bowling or walking or some type other than sex,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
find another physical activity that you guys can kind of work and do something together
Yeah.
to do that. And then to sometimes you can tell you don't need to eat that, that has
Mm-hmm.
too much cholesterol, your
Oh Lord.
cholesterol, you don't have to do this. But sometimes we have to change ourselves and show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at first they might be like, I'm not eating that bread. Where's the regular bread at? Like, I'm not eating
Right.
that.
Right.
But sometimes the more you can do it yourself and make those changes, just taste a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Let's try this.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying you need to do this, and I'm not going. If something happened to you, I'm not raising these kids by myself, because we go through the whole thing. But just you got to have those conversations, especially with each other. Where's your health? And like you say, to learn, just to be there for each other and support
Yeah.
each other, because we want to grow and have as many years, healthy years.
So we have to
You
start
know,
out healthy.
yeah,
When
and
you're
just
in your 20s and your 30s, you're eating any and everything. But if we start out with those healthy
yeah,
habits
you don't
and we
have to
do it
worry about,
together.
oh no,
Yeah.
I'm pre-diabetic. Oh my, because certain things just happen naturally just with age. And
Yeah.
I always tell people, take care of the things that you can control.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen to us that are beyond our control. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I didn't do anything to get breast cancer. It just happened.
Right, right, right,
But
right,
because
right.
of the physical condition that my body was in, helped me fare through that very
Yeah.
well. Not only the physical part, the mental part, and the psychological part,
Mm,
because those are
yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
If your spouse gets sick and he's the primary income, or whatever, how you guys are doing, you feeling like, oh, you
Mm,
worried about his illness, then you worried about, okay, this mortgage, or this, like
right.
the car payments. And I think what we've all said, have those conversations and
Mm,
communicate,
yes.
and just take a minute and communicate and talk about each other. Don't nag him about his weight.
Yeah.
Show him, let's park here. We don't have to park real close or look
Mm,
around in the Walmart looking for a closer space.
right.
Just little things like that, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to saying, man, that belly, man, I don't know.
Wait a minute,
You
Pastor.
ain't,
I can't nag him about his belly.
we don't want to
I shouldn't have been
nag.
doing that. Is that what you're telling me?
We don't want to nag. You might could just go and like, ooh, but we don't want to nag, because we don't want them saying that to us.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, and
Right.
when you're married long enough, we go through seasons,
Yeah.
all seasons, our psychological season, our
Yeah.
physical season.
Yes.
And you guys know, when you're with somebody long enough, you look at each other and laugh, like, it's like, oh, I remember when you had hair. And I'm like, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember when your hair was all one color, right? So, I mean, but it's just about encouraging each other. And hopefully in our conversation, we can encourage our listeners to have those communication, have those conversations, and just enjoy being with each other. Sometimes you just gotta be without the stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to remove yourself, because if you have kids, they are like, I mean, I have to admit, out of all the years that we've been married, the majority of arguments we've had are related to children and finances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but sometimes you just gotta just sit down and just be. Sometimes you don't even need to verbally, like Lucy, I think you mentioned this in your book, how like a quick hand on the shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
a hug from nowhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes our actions will speak louder than show me you love me. Don't just tell
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Fix this plate.
Yeah. Those physical touches, they are so meaningful. Well, you brought something to mind, ladies. Um, I had a young lady that I used to work with. She was talking to me one day, and she mentioned that she put on some weight, and her husband didn't like it. And she said, "Well, I don't understand. He should love me. It shouldn't make any difference about my weight." And I said, "Wait, hold up, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Now he loves you, but he still like what he like." you know, and he's telling you, if you don't get a hold of this, now he may not be saying it in a good way. And I know we don't always frame it in the right way, because I didn't frame mine when we talked to him, because I'm visual. Most men are visual. I'm a visual person. I like a certain look. I love my husband, but when he started getting that belly, I didn't like it. And I know that it starts out here, then it goes here, and if you don't get a hold on it,
It's
so
way over there.
now you look like you're 9 months pregnant, right? And you're a man. So So speak to that right there. That husbands and wives. I know women get a bad rap for letting themselves go,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's so important to understand that yeah, the person loves you, but they are they could be coming from a place of number one, it's not healthy for any of us to keep piling on weight. And as the years go on,
Right.
if we're not addressing it,
It just creeps up. Yep.
it's gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been almost at 300 pounds
Yeah.
before, and looked at myself and like, oh, in a picture,
Mm.
how did this happen? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I was involved with the kids, the work, the all of this stuff right here. But if you guys can speak to that, because I told her, I said, look, yeah, he loved you, but he still like what he like. And so that's what
Yeah.
our audience needs to understand, is that health is so important. I think you mentioned, Ivy, I believe it was you, that we should start when we're young. But in case we don't, sometimes life be
Mhm.
lifing.
Yeah.
And it's never too late to introduce healthy habits, and just go a little bit at a time. Sometimes we're all in, oh, we're gonna do this, we working out this, we're eating
Right.
this. Sometimes it's too much.
Right. Right.
Slow and steady wins the race. Sometimes you do have to do extremes if you're dealing with extreme health issues.
Mm-hmm.
um but just slow and steady, and it makes a big difference. If you
Yeah.
drink more water and less soda, it just sugar is as addicting. We won't go into
Yeah.
sugar
We call it
Yeah.
narcotic over here in our house.
That's what I was about to say. That's very addicting. That's just like some drugs.
Yeah.
Our body's
Yeah.
physically addicted to the sugar, but it's just you want to be here for yourself. And when you're talking about losing weight for as women, we want to do this for ourselves first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For ourselves
Yeah.
first. And
Mhm.
then your husbands will get the benefit of your hard work and your like, but don't, I think the mindset, I'm gonna lose this weight because my husband. No, you have to lose this weight because you want to lose this weight for
Right.
you.
Right.
And then everyone else will benefit from your decision to take care of you. And taking care of us, that's a whole nother podcast about women taker, because we take care of everybody but us.
Everybody but ourselves. Everybody but
Yes.
ourselves.
And another thing that you can do is like when you go to your annual checkups and when you come home. Okay, what did the doctor say? Need
Mhm.
to lose weight. All right. Okay,
Where
honey.
your lab work at? Let me see.
Right. Right. What we gonna do? We gonna work on this together.
Mhm.
And sometimes too, you go to the doctor together. My husband and we have the same primary physician. Sometimes we have separate appointments, but it kind of overlaps because he
Mm-hmm.
knows what he's doing, knows what I'm doing, and it kind of like works together. But
Yeah.
like you said, senior medical professionals on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
just for checkups and lab work. The main thing is to, again, control the things that you can control.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
can go to your doctor twice a year for a physical and get your lab work.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's no reason not to do that, as opposed to waiting until you're not feeling well. Or a lot of times things have progressed and been going on a while by the time you actually feel it in your body.
Mhm. I
Mm-hmm.
would agree with that. When my husband and I started our health and wellness journey, which I started mine about well, this month it'll be two years ago. So in 2 years, I have lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations.
I started
Congratulations.
out walking around this park that's in my neighborhood is 2 miles, and started out doing, it was probably a mile or something. Then I worked up to the whole 2 miles, and then 4 miles, and then 6 miles. So I do 6 miles every morning, just about.
Wow.
See?
And so recently, my husband, he started the process, and that was in maybe it was in October of last year, and we really don't like him. I'm gonna tell y'all, because he lost 42 pounds just like that.
Well, men and women are we're different, so we can't compare our weight loss to theirs, because
We
some
cannot,
of them,
they
they
got more
tend to lose stuff a
muscle.
lot quicker than we do.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So he looking good. I guess he said, "Well, I ain't gonna let you sit over there and look good by yourself."
All
So,
right now.
so I would say to anybody out there, just like Patti said, you need to do it for yourself. and your family, your spouse, your relatives, your friends, they all see the change in you. They'll
Yeah.
benefit from it also. But go ahead and start doing what you need to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And keep prayerfully, then your spouse, if they are able to come along, they will come along too, because most of the time, uh, the people we live in the house with, they see a positive change in you. It's just like the light that
Mm.
we have for the Lord. People see that change in our demeanor when we get on
Yeah.
fire for the Lord. So it's the same thing when they see you making a change and see you looking healthy and being able to do things. Uh, they'll decide on their own, because it wasn't going to be no amount of prying and prodding and nagging that was going to make him decide to change.
Yeah.
He had to decide that on his own. So
Yes.
I would say
Mm.
that. So I know as we're coming to close to the end, and at the end, Pat is going to give us a health and wellness minute. But what I wanted to leave for the man or woman who is listening to this, um, for someone who's feeling hopeless in their marriage, what's a message of hope that you would like to share, Ivy?
Mm-hmm. Um, I would have to ask them to go back to when they first fell in love, and then ask yourself what happened.
Mm.
Go back to when you first fell in love and where you are today. What happened? Why are you so far apart? And it's not because of one person. You both have to look at what you contributed to where you are today. So go back, go back.
I like that. I like that. What about you, Patty?
I mean, I totally agree with that. Sometimes life just be lifing, and we go through the motions, and we forget to say, "How was your day?" And
Mm,
when we forget to say, "I'm so in love with you," you may say, "I love you," and we all know loving a person and being in love, it's different. So, like you said, just go back to that time when everything felt good,
Hmm.
and like you say, figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And
mhm.
then I think, like you said, Ivy, let that be the start of your conversation
Hmm.
and work from there.
Yeah.
I like that. I guess for the question for me then would be, uh, if anybody's feeling hopeless in the way their marriage is going, I would say what worked for me was appreciation. I stopped looking at what my husband didn't do that I wanted him to do,
Hmm.
and I
Mm,
started looking at the things that he did do
Yeah.
mm,
and started appreciating him for that.
Yeah.
And that made a big difference
Mm.
in how I saw him. Um, I asked the Lord to help me to see him the way he sees him.
Yeah.
Because what I'm seeing right now ain't it.
it ain't it.
So help me see, let me see, his good qualities, because everybody got some good and bad qualities. I got good and bad qualities, right? But
Yes.
I really was so arrogant. I thought, you know what, this man is so blessed to
It's
have.
his fault, right?
No, he's so blessed to have me. I'm perfect. He is so blessed to have me. And he don't even know how to act. But I had to look at myself for real and say, Gary, you a hot mess. You are crazy. And that man still loves you. You better start appreciating him because he's dealing with a whole fool sometimes. So anyway, if y'all are out there, just wanted to leave you. You've heard three different perspectives here from women who have been, all of these women here have been married 30 plus years. And so we wanted to give you those words to give you hope. So, Pata, as we getting ready to close, uh, I wanted you to give uh, your wellness
Oh,
minute
The Wellness Minute. All right, guys, before we wrap this up, we're going to leave you with a Wellness Minute. And I just say a minute. Sometimes when just think when pressures rise in your marriage, in your relationship, couples often forget to rest together because you're in the chaos together. Even 5 minutes, no phones, no planning, helps reset your nervous systems. Rest isn't weakness. It's fuel for resilience. So just take a minute sometimes just to sit down. Something you don't even have to have a conversation. Just sit next to each other. No phones, no TV, no children, no moms, dad, nothing. Just you and your significant other together in I guess a sacred or shared space. And just be.
I love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, Ivy, thank you so much for joining me and Pata today on
Thank
the
you,
Stronger,
Ivy.
Deeper Marriage. We enjoyed our conversation with you.
Yes.
And our audience, we would like to say thank you for spending your time with us because you could have been doing something else
Something
today.
else. Yeah.
But we just want to let there is hope
Yes.
and you can get to the other side too because neither one of us thought that we would get to the other side of marriage that we have got
Yes.
to. So just
Yeah.
wanted to leave you with this. Continue to live in your purpose. And our wish for you is that you live with peace, purpose, and passion. Until next
Yes.
time.
Until next time.
Thank you.
Bye.